There is a special hack in your advertising campaigns that you probably have never used that can help you get higher ROAS and higher revenue. And in this video, I'm gonna be breaking it down step by step to show you exactly how it works. My name is Michael, and this channel is dedicated to helping you run better webinars and live events so you can scale your coaching business. So what is this hack inside of Facebook? Well, the thing is that you've probably even thought about it before, but you've never actually put a name to it or realized that it actually works. Now, when you go into your Facebook campaigns, the first thing that you do when you choose a campaign is choose your objective. Now, have you tried different objectives when you ran ads before? Most people, especially when you're running webinars, you're choosing just lead, right? Or if you're booking calls to a VSL, you're choosing schedule. Or if you're sending people to buy on a page, a sales page, you're choosing purchase. But there is a hack. When you're starting to feel fatigue, instead of changing all of your ads, you can use what's called cyclic campaigns. Now, cyclic campaigns are just a way of reinvigorating your advertising campaigns without having to always swap out all your creative. Right now, in this day of Andromeda, everybody's trying to put 20 or 30 ads inside of an ad set, but sometimes you don't even have to do that. You can just swap it, you can reinvigorate your campaigns, get higher ROAS, increase your revenue with one simple step. So these are called cyclic campaigns. So what is a cyclic campaign? So basically think about it like this. If you're running an ad right now for your webinar and you're choosing lead as your objective, this is a way of you actually using another objective along with that one, right? And so oftentimes when you're using a lead objective, let's say you've been running ads for 3 weeks or something like that, and your ads are starting to creep up in cost, right? And you're starting to notice your lead quality start to drop a little bit. And you're starting to notice that your ads may be fatigued, right? And let's say you won't go out and shoot new ads, or let's say your client is not willing to go out and shoot new ads right now, and you're like, okay, I got nothing else I can do. This is a way that you can re-spark up your ads with the same exact creative without hurting your ads. So basically what you do is, let's say the same example, you have leads, right? And so here, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the leads, the same exact creative inside of here, and you're gonna run them as a purchase, right? Now, when you do this, what this allows you to do is to take all of those same creatives and then use them here. Again, this will reinvigorate those ads without you having to burn them out. Now, just to be clear, this is not going to like reset and act like you have a whole batch of new ads. Like, you still need to go create some new ads, but this will actually help you like cycle through different objectives, right? And so let's say for a webinar, there's 3 that I typically like to use for webinars. So one are leads, right? And so when I launch any webinar, I actually start with leads. And the reason I start with leads, even though oftentimes I end up scaling through a purchase campaign, when I start with leads, it gives me a good idea of lead cost, right? And if I can get a really good lead cost, when I move to these other campaign styles, right, these cyclic campaigns, I'm gonna have a good enough cost to be able to scale very aggressively into them. So let's say with your leads, you're sitting at a $10 cost per lead, right? I know that if I choose a purchase, this will probably shoot up to about 25-ish bucks, right? So if it's at $25, I can still scale very aggressively into a purchase campaign, right? Now, the third thing that I do here with these typically is I'll do a schedule campaign. So most of the time when you're running a schedule campaign, that's because you're trying to get scheduled calls, right? And you're running scheduled calls for like a VSL funnel, let's say. So on your VSL funnel, you have a booking page and you want them to book a call, right? And so for the schedule, you'll probably get, I'd say around like $20-ish if you're at a 10. Now, the problem with cyclic campaigns, if you just jump into one of these, is if you start with a lead cost here, let's say your lead cost is like 20 bucks to start here. Well, guess what's gonna happen? When you go to purchase, it's gonna be like 50. When you go to schedule, you're gonna be sitting around probably like 35 bucks, right? Now, the important part about this is like, do these economics still make sense if you have that high of a lead cost? Because what will happen with these cyclic campaigns is you'll find that leads typically are like your lowest one, right? They're the ones that typically give you, I would say, the least qualified, right? And so if you're starting with leads, it's a good idea to actually just start to get an idea of cost, and then you can move into these other cyclic campaigns. But the beautiful thing about these cyclic campaigns is you can run all of them at the same exact time with the same exact creative, right? And this allows you to double down on that creative without having to create so much new stuff. Now, the best way to do this is to figure out which one of these is actually going to produce the highest ROAS on the back end and then double down on that one specific. So for me, oftentimes I find that purchase is usually one of the winners. But one of the tough parts about purchase is that cost can be really, really, really expensive, right? And I think I talked about this in another video where we're talking about optimizing from 0 to 10K a day, right? And when you optimize from 0 to 10K a day, one of the easiest ways to do that is to duplicate your campaigns and use cyclic campaigns, right? I could drop that link video below. You can go watch the entire thing. But this is how you can maximize scaling as well as just actually reinvigorating those ads, right? Now, the fourth type of cyclic campaign that I would recommend for webinars or live events is doing a number 4, custom event, right? So recently, I've actually been using more custom events because Facebook has done really well with these custom events. Back in the day, what used to happen oftentimes is when you would choose a custom event, it was almost like Facebook was kind of blind to who you wanted and what you were going after. You had to have so much data coming back to Facebook for that specific event for a period of time that it was able to optimize for that event. Now, a lot of times, like this actually can kick things back into gear and get you lower costs pretty early on, right? And so there's this crazy glitch. I don't know when you're watching this, there's a crazy glitch right now going on with Facebook, but every time you choose purchase, Facebook randomly will put you into a pocket of people that do not buy, right? There's just a bunch of bot traffic sending to your website. So if you've seen that all of a sudden your ads just stopped working, your CPMs got really, really low, this is why. And so what we've been doing is we've been taking a custom conversion and we've been using just standard purchase but creating it as a custom conversion, and now it's allowing us to get out of that pocket, right? And so with custom conversions, this one can vary depending on how long you've been warming up your custom conversion. So let's say, for example, you're warming it up off of like a Tripwire, right? And a Tripwire, if you don't know, is basically, let's say your webinar opt-in page, in between your opt-in page and your thank you page, you have something for them to buy, right? That may be something $7, $27, whatever that may be. And so if you're optimizing off of that, you've created a custom conversion that basically says, hey, these are my Tripwire purchases. And so after that data has been sent back to Facebook for a period of time, Facebook will know, I want to go after the same types of people that he has been using as a custom conversion for your Tripwire, right? And so depending on how deep in the funnel your custom conversion is or how like high quality you want that custom conversion, this could vary between typically like, I'd say 15 to like 30-ish bucks. So like if you really want like absolute premium, right? Because first off, purchase is my favorite, right? Purchase all the time. I typically will get very, very good leads. But there's also different layers of purchase, right? So if you were to take this layer of purchase, and let's say, for example, you've got like your standard, like let's do Tripwire, right? So on a free webinar, you've got your Tripwire. But you could also have a much deeper conversion of somebody who actually purchases, let's say, your 5K product or your 10K product, right? And so if you take one of these and you optimize it for Tripwire, let's say this is your trip, and you optimize this one for the 5K, you can see that they are drastically different quality type people, okay? And so if you look at a Tripwire, you're likely looking at maybe like a, $25-ish cost per lead. Let's say we're at the same thing as, this $10 lead on a lead objective, right? And the 5K, you're probably looking at a $40 cost per lead. And the reason being is because this person's so much deeper in the funnel. And if you've given Facebook enough data of that person deep down in the funnel. Now, just to be clear, I said earlier that you don't have to give Facebook a ton of data. That's if you're only trying to optimize that glitch that you've been dealing with and it just uses that purchase fallback, right? But if you're trying to optimize for really deep data for like a very, very, very specific person, you're gonna have to be sending data back at least 200 to 500 events all back to the pixel to get the right people, right? And so with this one, what'll happen is Facebook is gonna say, like, these are the people that this guy wants based on his custom conversion of 5K right here, right? But normally you're looking at like the premium, right? The people that are willing to pay 5K, they have very, very, very specific subset of actions that they take on Facebook, different data points and stuff like that. And so these people are gonna be expensive. And so this is where become the economics of your webinar, where you're looking at how much do I need for a lead all the way down to a purchase, right? What is my cost per purchase? What is my average order value of this customer, right? And when you look at those economics, like, does it make sense to go for the highest quality lead, or does it make sense to even sometimes stick around with your lead objective, right? Because oftentimes I've found that you can use leads for very specific clients. Now, there's clients that typically just attract a really high quality, or their offer attracts somebody really, really high quality. And when you do that, sometimes it makes sense to scale into a $10 cost per lead as opposed to a $30 cost per purchase, because there's maybe a 10, 20% difference between the types of people. Now, look at the show rates, look at the conversion rates, right? Look at the conversion rates, the close rates on them, right? Because those things are gonna be really important. But again, it's all economics, right? Looking at it from start to finish. So again, basically, cyclic campaigns. Number one are changing objectives, right? So you're constantly changing your objectives. And the reason you're gonna do this is to prolong your creative, right? So if you're feeling burnout on your creative, switch the objective. This will help you extend that creative and prolong it a little bit longer. The second thing is quality, right? So if you're feeling kind of shitty quality, right, you're not getting the right people on your webinar, try one of these deeper objectives, right? So you can start with lead, you jump to schedule, you go to purchase, and then you go to a custom conversion, right? And number 4, this is how you can scale, right? So in the scaling sense of this, if you have $10,000 per webinar going towards a lead objective, you can basically double your spend by taking that towards a purchase objective. And so you go from 10 to now $20,000 in spend. You add another 5 or 10 of a custom conversion, right? This helps you not blow out your costs with everything. You're actually going into a better quality traffic if you're going up the channel of objectives. So if you're experiencing any of these 3 problems, you want to prolong your creative either because you don't have time to shoot or your client just will not shoot you more ads, this is a great option. Number 2, your quality. If your quality is struggling right now, do not be afraid to get a higher cost per lead. Right now, cost per lead, in my opinion, over the last 12 months, is a complete vanity metric. I care about quality per lead. So look deeper into your funnel. Feel free to test these out and not be afraid of your lead cost shooting up. And number 3, scaling. So if you right now are stuck and you want to scale and you want to immediately go from 5K a day to 10K a day, this right here will give you that option and it'll aggressively scale you without fucking up your ROAS. And if you like this video, comment down below, let me know, and I'll see you in the next one.